All right, guys, quiet down now. I'm not going to give you guys the sheet yet until we start. This is a lot like yesterday's, but they're a little bit bigger numbers. Hopefully, we remembered the place values because, again, that's as I just said, I'll give it to you here in a second. All right. You need to pay attention up here so that you can maybe understand this before you get the sheet instead of just trying to work through it immediately. Because yesterday we ran into a problem. Like a problem like number 2 when we get to it. So that's why I'm going to go through this. So all eyes need to be up front. Everything off your desk. Sitting up straight. We're not sitting up straight. We're not paying attention. You guys got this pretty well yesterday. But like people like Libby who wasn't here yesterday, and then those that are here today, this will help a little bit. So what was that word when we put a 0 right here? What was that word? What did I call it? We blank a 0. What was that? Laura? Yeah, remember that? We annexed a 0. Means we took one out of thin air, basically, and we put it here. And we talked about yesterday how it doesn't matter if it's 0.6 or 6/10 or 6/100 or 60/100 or 600,000. That equals the exact same thing as this right here, this right here. They're all equal because, again, it doesn't matter how many zeros. So we put a 0 there, and now we're going to subtract. Now, from the morning work, the reason why some of you might look at me and say, why are we going over subtraction, Mr. Young? Well, this is why, because on your guys' morning work, some of us don't subtract very well. And we don't, I think we look at this and say, well, that's 0 minus 2 is 2. Is that correct?
No.
No. So, again, we got to borrow. What do we borrow from? What do we make the 1?
0.
We make that a 0. We take that, basically what we're doing is we're taking 10 ones, and we're going to put that over here, and now this is going to become a what?
10.
A 10. What's 10 minus 2?
8.
Now, 0 minus 3, can we do?
10. Let's go. 6.
Borrow makes us a what?
5.
Now, what we're doing is we're taking these 10 tens, we're putting it over here, so we're going to make this a 10 now. So this is going to be 7. Can we do 5 minus 6?
No.
We borrow from this, makes us a what?
8.
We take that 1 and put it over here. What's
9.
9? We drop down our decimal point straight down. What's 8 minus 6? And,
6.
sorry, 2, yeah, and then this is 6. So our answer is 62, and anybody know how to say that number right there? Holly, go ahead, Holly. Get a sucker, yeah, good. She raised her hand like you're supposed to. All right. Now, the second one right here is what I really wanted to cover, okay? Because some of us were confused yesterday on this part. Aiden, will you face the front, both of you? Sailor? All right. Some of you say, well, there's no decimal there. Well, this is a whole number. Hopefully you guys see that 29, and you know that 29 is a whole 29. If you're 29 years old, that means you've lived for 29 years. It's whole number. Okay? So is it safe to say that right there? Can I put a decimal? What can I put after it? 2 zeros. Remember, that is the same, Ethan, that is the same as saying 29 or 29.00. We only do that because we're dealing with decimals right now. Then you add it up. Okay? I'm not going to add that up for you because you can do that yourself. Again, right here, 71. What do I need to put after the 71? Yeah, they've already got it lined up for you. I wish they didn't line it up for you, but they did. And then what do we need to put after it?
0.
A 0. And that's all. Then you subtract. Monday's lesson is going to be this exact same thing, but it's going to be all subtraction. All right? So I'm just giving you guys a heads up on that. What I would do if I'm getting ready to do this assignment, I would go ahead and drop a decimal where it's supposed to go like this. I just go ahead and drop it straight down for every single problem because I'm not moving that any. And then I'd go ahead and go in there and start adding in like zeros, dot, 0, 0, like this. Till I have the decimal 0. And then all I have left are addition and subtraction problems. I don't have to worry about decimals. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff other than just doing the problem. But you want to make sure you pay attention to if it's plus or minus, Holly. You want to pay attention to those, right? Because that can get you in the end if you add when you're supposed to subtract or subtract when you're supposed to add. Asher.
We have to put zeros down.
You don't have to, but it's good practice because you might forget like what you're doing, especially if you're subtracting right here. You know, if you're subtracting, it's kind of essential that you have zeros because you're going to be borrowing and regrouping, aren't you? So you're going to have to be doing that. So I would just say go ahead and do it. The adding one is a little different. Adding is a little easier to not do it, to get away with it. But subtracting, I would definitely do it. I want to go over this sheet today. I've done one for you right here. And I'm going to leave this up here, and I need you to copy that problem down when you get it. But you have 15 problems. You guys know how to add and subtract. I'm going to give you only 1.5 minutes per problem because you should know how to add and subtract. You're in 5th grade. I've seen most of you do it. So 15 minutes, 1.5 minutes for 15 problems, each of them. So that's going to be roughly about 20 minutes. I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes, and that's it. And then I'm going to collect it, and I'm going to, actually, we're probably going to switch like we did yesterday because this is easy stuff. This is not like something that you have to make fun of somebody about because we don't do that anyway. And whatever you got, you're getting graded for. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
So if you jack around and decide you're not going to do it and you've got 3 problems done, guess what? You're only getting graded for 3 problems. Ethan, what? You can use a partner, but again, you have 20 minutes. That's it. I'm setting a timer. When that goes off, I'm going to say, go back to your seat. We're going over this right now. And no Chromebooks whatsoever. Everybody hear that? No Chromebooks. Ray, put your mask on if you would, and go ahead and do that thing. I'm not going to say it on the camera, but here you go. All right, so those on the camera right here, again, just do 1 through 15. All you're doing is adding, subtracting. So, you're going to want to annex a 0. You're going to want to put a 0 in place of that right there. And then you simply just add. Keep your decimal points lined up. This one here, again, you're going to put a 0 right there. And then you subtract. Pay close attention to adding and subtracting right here. Yes. We're doing social, for math. All right, and then this right here, again, we need to put a decimal, keep it lined up right here, and then we're going to put a 0, and then we subtract. We pay close attention to subtraction, okay? So you guys at home obviously have enough time, and you have it on Cami. So you might want to do this on a separate sheet of paper and then type in your answer on the Cami and then submit it to me, okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.